Hello and welcome to day 45 in the Not Alone Today Chronological Bible Reading Plan with Joseph and Anu. Today we are in Numbers chapters 18 to 20 and we are in the New American Standard Bible for this week.
Chapter 18. So the Lord said to Aaron, "You, your sons, and your father's household with you shall bear the guilt in connection with the sanctuary, and you and your sons shall bear the guilt in connection with your priesthood. But also bring your brothers with you, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, so that they may join you and serve you, while you and your son with you are before the tent of the testimony. And they shall perform duties for you and the duties of the whole tent, but they shall not come near the furnishing of the sanctuary and the altar, or both they and you will die. They shall join you and perform the duties of the tent of meeting for all the service of the tent, but any unauthorized person shall not come near you. So you shall perform the duties of the sanctuary and the duties of the altar, so that there will no longer be wrath on the sons of Israel. Behold, I myself have taken your fellow Levites from among the sons of Israel. They are a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord, to perform the service of the tent of meeting. But you and your sons with you shall attend to your priesthood for everything that concerns the altar and inside the veil, and you are to perform service. I am giving you the priesthood as a service that is a gift, and the unauthorized person who comes near shall be put to death."
Then the Lord spoke to Aaron, "Now behold, I myself have put you in charge of my offerings. All the holy gifts of the sons of Israel I have given to you as a portion, and to your sons as a permanent allotment. This shall be yours from the most holy gifts reserved from the fire. Every offering of theirs, namely every grain offering, every sin offering, and every guilt offering, with which they shall make restitution to me, shall be most holy for you and for your sons. As the most holy gifts you shall eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy to you. This also is yours, the offering of their gift, that is, all the wave offerings of the sons of Israel. I have given them to you and to your sons and daughters with you, as a permanent allotment. Every one of your household who is clean may eat it. All the best of the fresh oil and all the best of the fresh wine, and of the grain, the first fruits of what they give to the Lord, I have given them to you. The first ripe fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to the Lord, shall be yours. Every one of your household who is clean may eat it. Everything banned from secular use in Israel shall be yours. Every firstborn of the womb of all flesh, whether human or animal, which they offer to the Lord, shall be yours. However, you must redeem the human firstborn, and the firstborn of unclean animals you shall redeem. As to their redemption price, from a month old you shall redeem them. By your assessment, 5 shekels in silver, by the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerals. But the firstborn of an ox, the firstborn of a sheep, or the firstborn of a goat you shall not redeem. They are holy. You shall sprinkle their blood on the altar and offer up their fat in smoke as an offering by fire, for a soothing aroma to the Lord. However, their meat shall be yours. It shall be yours like the breast of a wave offering and like the right thigh. All the offerings of the holy gifts which the sons of Israel offer to the Lord, I have given to you and to your sons and your daughters with you, as a permanent allotment. It is a permanent covenant of salt before the Lord to you and to your descendants with you." Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You shall have no inheritance in their land, nor own any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the sons of Israel."
To the sons of Levi, behold, I have given all the tithe in Israel as an inheritance, in return for their service which they perform, the service of the tent of meeting. And the sons of Israel shall not come near the tent of meeting again, or they will bring sin on themselves and die. Only the Levites shall perform the service of the tent of meeting, and they shall bear their own guilt. It shall be a permanent statute throughout your generations. And among the sons of Israel they shall have no inheritance. For the tithe of the sons of Israel, which they offer as an offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. Therefore I have said concerning them, they shall have no inheritance among the sons of Israel.
Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Moreover, you shall speak to the Levites and say to them, when you take from the sons of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then you shall present an offering from it to the Lord, a tithe of the tithe. Your offering shall be credited to you like the grain from the threshing floor, or the full produce from the wine vat. So you shall also present an offering to the Lord from all your tithes, which you receive from the sons of Israel. And from it you shall give the Lord's offering to Aaron the priest. Out of all your gifts you shall present every offering due to the Lord, from all the best of them, the sacred part from them. And you shall say to them, when you have offered from it the best of it, then the rest shall be credited to the Levites like the product of the threshing floor, or like the product of the wine vat. You may eat it anywhere, you and your households, for it is your compensation in return for your service in the tent of meeting. And you will bring on yourselves no sin by reason of it when you have offered the best of it, but you shall not profane the sacred gifts of the sons of Israel, so that you do not die.
Chapter 19. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, This is the statute of the law which the Lord has commanded, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, that they bring you an unblemished red heifer, in which there is no defect, and on which a yoke has never been mounted. And you shall give it to Eleazar the priest, and it shall be brought outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. And Eleazar the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger, and sprinkle some of his blood towards the front of the tent of meeting 7 times. Then the ephah shall be burnt in his sight, its hide, its flesh, and its blood, with its refuse shall be burned. And the priest shall take cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet material, and throw it into the midst of the burning heifer. The priest shall then wash his clothes and bathe his body in water, and afterward come into the camp. But the priest will be unclean until evening. The one who burns the ephah shall also wash his clothes in water, and bathe his body in water, and will be unclean until evening. Now, a man who is clean shall gather up the ashes of the ephah, and put them outside the camp in a clean place, and the congregation of the sons of Israel shall keep them in water to remove impurity. It is purification from sin. And the one who gathers the ashes of the ephah shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. And it shall be a permanent statute for the sons of Israel and for the stranger who resides among them.
The one who touches the dead body of any person will also be unclean for 7 days. That one shall purify himself with the water on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and then he will be clean. But if he does not purify himself on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, he will not be clean. Anyone who touches the dead body, the body of a person who has died, and does not purify himself, defiles the tabernacle of the Lord, and that person shall be cut off from Israel, since the water for impurity was not sprinkled on him. He will be unclean. His uncleanness is still on him.
This is the law when a person dies in a tent. Everyone who comes into the tent, and everyone who is in the tent will be unclean for 7 days. And every open container which has no cover tied down on it will be unclean. Also, anyone who in the open field touches one who has been killed with a sword, or one who has died naturally, or touches a human bone or a grave, will be unclean for 7 days. Then for the unclean person, they shall take some of the ashes of the burnt purification from sin, and running water shall be added to them in a container. And a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in water and sprinkle it on the tent, on all the furnishings, on the persons who were there, and on the one who touched the bone, or the one who was killed, or the one who died naturally, or the grave. Then the clean person shall sprinkle on the unclean on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and on the 7th day it shall purify him, and he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and will be clean by evening.
But the person who is unclean and does not purify himself that person shall be cut off from the midst of the assembly, because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water for impurity has not been sprinkled on him, so he is unclean. So it shall be a permanent statute for them. And the one who sprinkles the water for impurity shall wash his clothes, and the one who touches the water for impurity will be unclean until evening. Furthermore, anything that the unclean person touches will be unclean, and the person who touches it will be unclean until evening.
Chapter 20. Then the sons of Israel, the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month, and the people stayed at Kadesh. Now Miriam died there and was buried there.
There was no water for the congregation, and they assembled against Moses and Aaron. Then the people argued with Moses and spoke, saying, "If only we had perished when our brothers perished before the Lord. Why then have you brought the Lord's assembly into this wilderness for us and our livestock to die here? Why did you make us come up from Egypt to bring us into this wretched place? It is not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, nor is there water to drink." Then Moses and Aaron came in from the presence of the assembly to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and fell on their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying,
"Take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron assemble the congregation and speak to the rock before their eyes, that it shall yield its water. So you shall bring water for them out of the rock, and have the congregation and their livestock drink."
So Moses took the staff from before the Lord, just as he had commanded him. And Moses and Aaron summoned the assembly in front of the rock. And he said to them, "Listen now, you rebels. Shall we bring water for you out of this rock?" Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with his staff, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Since you did not trust in me, to treat me as holy in the sight of the sons of Israel, for that reason you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them." Those were called the waters of Meribah, because the sons of Israel argued with the Lord, and he proved himself holy among them.
From Kadesh, Moses sent messengers to the king of Edom to say, "This is what your brother Israel has said. You know all the hardship that has overtaken us, that our fathers went down to Egypt, and we stayed in Egypt for a long time, and the Egyptians treated us and our fathers badly. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard our voices and sent an angel, and brought us out from Egypt. Now, behold, we are at Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your land. We will not pass through field or vineyard. We will not even drink water from a well. We will go along the king's road, not turning to the right or left, until we pass through your territory."
Edom, however, said to him, "You shall not pass through us, or I will come out with the sword against you." Again the sons of Israel said to him, "We will go up by the road, and if I and my livestock do drink any of your water, then I will pay its price. Let me only pass through on my feet, nothing more." But he said, "You shall not pass through." And Edom came out against him with a heavy force and a strong hand. So Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through his territory. Then Israel turned away from him.
Now when they set out from Kadesh, the sons of Israel, the whole congregation, came to Mount Hor.
Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron at Mount Hor by the border of the land of Edom, saying, "Aaron will be gathered to his people, for he shall not enter the land which I have given to the sons of Israel, because you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and his son Eleazar, and bring them up to Mount Hor. Then strip Aaron of his garments and put them on his son Eleazar. So Aaron will be gathered to his people and will die there." So Moses did just as the Lord had commanded, and they went up to Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And after Moses stripped Aaron of his garments and put them on his son Eleazar, Aaron died there on the mountain top. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. When all the congregation saw that Aaron had died, the whole house of Israel wept for Aaron for 30 days. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. Just a quick summary through the chapters we've read. So in chapter 18, we read about the duties of the Levites. God also gave them portion and told them what is their inheritance and what isn't, and also gave portions to the sons of Levi. In chapter 19, there was the ordinance of the red ephah, and how that this ephah will be a purification offering for the Israelites. And also God gave law concerning someone who has died and what they should do and what they should not do regarding purification. In chapter 20, we read about the death of Miriam, and we read about how Moses rebelled against God by not following his instruction when the people asked for water. We also read about how that the Israelites wanted to go through the land of Edom, but they were refused. And then finally, we read about the death of Aaron, and now his son Eleazar became the priest in his stead. What stood out to you in chapter 18, Kola?
Yeah, the entire 3 chapters, just so many things to unpack. But specifically in chapter 18, I think it's just the whole idea of supporting the priests in terms of, God spelling out again, these are the things that are yours. There will be no inheritance for you in the promised land in terms of geographical space or location. I am your inheritance. And because I am your inheritance, the things that are given to me, I'm giving them or sharing them in some sense with you. So yeah, I think it gives us indeed a template, a template is the word, for how people that are involved in ministries should be supported by their churches. It was in the book of Proverbs that we would read that prayer from, I think it was King Lemuel. Do not give me riches, lest I forget you. But he also says, do not give me poverty, lest I dip my hand into iniquity. Give me food such as is enough for me. When pastors are also bothered about livelihood in the sense of what shall we eat, where shall we live, what shall we put on, it distracts, of course, from the work of the ministry to which they have been called. And anything that churches can do to support their ministers in that sense, they should do it and do it best. It's give them the first fruits, not the leftover, is the principle the Lord has given to his people in this case. But more often than not, what we see is that people give their shepherds the leftovers, not the first fruits in that sense. So yeah, very instructive for our present day. When that doesn't happen, I should add, then we see many pastors being unnecessarily manipulative. We see many church leaders being unnecessarily, they devise all sorts of schemes to still continue to make ends meet in the name of the Lord. And I think that is just absolutely dangerous, not only wrong, but also very dangerous. True. Because now we are talking of God's, everything that they have in a sense is God's. And they are meddling with what belongs to God in unholy alliances. So yeah, that's just to avoid that. It's better that churches actually take the initiative and support their pastors as best as they could. Yeah. What stood out to you?
I like how God specified the things that would be theirs, and how that they would have meat, they would have fresh wine, grain, the first ripe fruits, and like if you look at the list of the things that was mentioned from chapter verse 1, up to 20, you would see that in essence, even if they're losing their lot, they're still gaining more. Because these people who have lands and have worked, they're bringing those fresh fruits to the priest, and the priest gets to eat it with their sons and daughters. So in a sense, it reads to me as though there's no loss as such. Like while they are performing God's work, God has made provisions for them to eat, and I like how that God spelt it out, what it should be done, what it is, and what it should be done. And then in chapter 19, what stood out to me was how that this time God has made provision for the purification of
those who have come in contact with their body.
So instead of them being just unclean, as we read in Leviticus, now there's a process to make them clean again. Is that right?
Yes, in
That's how
the
it reads to me.
yeah, it's that process that is spelled out here in the Leviticus account. It was also it was mentioned that they have to, like, maybe I think it summarized this, that take a bath and things like that. But here we see the elaborate process being spelled out on how they do that. Yeah,
Did anything else stand out to you?
there's a part of me that is asking, why is that important to have a cleansing having touched a dead body? But again, it goes back to that principle. I think we've alluded to it at some point in one of the readings in Leviticus. The principle of life and death, in terms of, God is a God of life. And to be in contact with death, the idea of death as we now have it, came because of as a consequence to the fall. The day that you eat of this, you shall die. That is how death entered into the equation. It was never meant to be a part of the package. We are supposed to have the Zoe life, the life of God, eternal life, life forever. And so to have gone through, or to have died, literally, is to have gone through, in some sense, it's a passage through that judgment that came upon all humanity. And to touch someone that has died, in spite of what is going on in the spiritual realm when they transition from death to life, or to afterlife, as the case may be, there is still the need to reinforce the fact that all of us are under this judgment and contamination of death. It is a contamination. It's not part of the original plan. And eventually we're going to get over to the point where, of course, death is defeated. That's the one thing Jesus is coming to defeat. And once that's defeated, it opens the door for all humanity, as many as will believe in him, to come and partake and enjoy in the original plan of God, in terms of life abundantly and life eternal. Yeah.
And then chapter 20, it started with the death of Miriam. Being simple, she died and was buried there. We don't know if the death was from what happened to her earlier when she had leprosy or not, or how long it was from before she died. Then at the end of chapter 20, we read that Aaron died and was buried at the top of the mountain. And in my view, Bashayo, like, Aaron would have been quite elderly at that point. How did he manage to climb to the top of the mountain? And Moses as well.
Yeah.
Because whilst I was reading, all I can view was two old men with sticks going up on a mountain.
It's just 3 years age difference between Moses and Aaron. And as of the time that Moses died, we were told that was at the age of over 100, I don't know, 110 or 120. Bible says his natural forces were not abated, neither did his eyes go dim. That even at that point, and we're going to get to that part soon, he was still as strong as he has always been. He could read, we would say in our context, he could read without glasses. His eyes were not dim. It wasn't like Isaac that couldn't distinguish between his sons because of old age. Eyesight has gone, not Moses. And I would imagine the same covenant extended to Aaron. Even for the entire Israelites, we're going to read later on how that throughout these 40 years, the clothes on their back did not go, it didn't fade. Their shoes and sandals did not wear out. It's a miraculous experience, and it just makes you wonder, the people that are going against all these natural laws because of God's presence, how they would still find it convenient to complain and to groan and to grumble and to say that it's better they were in Egypt. Or there's a new one now in this chapter. It's better that they had died with the people that rebelled against the God. Who says that? You would rather have perished than to suffer a moment of thirst. So I get the anger of Moses and Aaron. I don't get the disobedience to the instructions they've been given. But again, as we have said before, it's human. They are only human after all. To have felt that way, like, again and again, they kept coming at them with all these complaints. And now we are beginning to see the principal officers dying one after the other. This is telling us that we are, after that watershed moment of God pronouncing the judgment, that generation will perish in the wilderness. And only Caleb and Joshua and every other person 20 years and younger will make it into the promised land. Now we are beginning to see. I can only imagine that many people are dying on a daily basis, even in this their journey. Hence, perhaps the elaborate instructions in chapter 19 about the purification for when you've come in contact with a dead body, because that is a daily occurrence amongst them. Because by the time we are seeing the generation that is going into the promised land, indeed, as the Lord has spoken, everyone that was older than 20, by the time they made that rebellion and came back with that bad report and God pronounced that judgment on them, all of them were dead. And it was indeed a very young, vibrant generation that are now moving on into the promised land.
What the first thing that stood out to me in chapter 20 was how that when the people complained, again, Moses and Aaron fell on their faces. And immediately they did this, the glory of the Lord appeared to them and God spoke. And it reminds me of what happened when we read chapters 14 to 18, how that came up often, repeatedly, that the people would complain, Moses and Aaron would fall on their faces, and the glory of the Lord would appear and speak to the sons of Israel. But on this occasion, he appeared and spoke to Moses and Aaron, giving Moses the instruction. And it's quite sad that Moses didn't do exactly as the Lord commanded him, because from Exodus up until, the start of Numbers, every time God gives Moses instructions and he carries it out, there will be a record of Moses did just as the Lord told him. Did just as the Lord said. When the sanctuary was being built, he gave the instructions to the builder just as the Lord did. But it's quite strange why he would detour from that. In my view, just being honest, I don't see what Moses has done here to be a big disobedience. In light of his perpetual obedience, and in light of his nature of being a humble man, some commentaries said the reason the disobedience was quite significant was because Moses raised his hand and then struck in front of the community. So he who should be an example to the sons of Israel is also rebelling, same as them. And that could be the reason. But to my mind, it doesn't.
This is part of how what we see in later parts of scriptures help us understand or make sense of some of the previous parts. So Paul will later give us a divine revelation about this to say the rock was not just a rock. The rock was Christ. You stood up, raised your rod and struck Christ, not once, twice. When the instruction was clear, take your rod and speak to the rock. It's just imagining it in that sense of the rock is Christ. And Moses, that was supposed to speak to Christ, struck Christ twice. Changes the way you interpret or analyze what has just played out there. But yes, rightly so. I think the other thing to then see is the statement that was uttered. Shall we, Aaron and myself, bring water for you out of this rock? There was nothing about God in that statement.
Again, assuming the responsibility.
Shall we bring water for you out of this rock? And then he raised his hand, struck the rock twice, and water came out abundantly. Two things there. One, in some sense, taking the glory for what God is doing. We want to be sure that we stay clear of that by all means. And secondly, the fact that you are getting results does not mean that God is in it with you.
True.
Because even though they acted in disobedience, water still came out. And not in trickles. It came out abundantly. They drank. The issue of the murmuring was nipped in the bud because what they wanted, they got it. The result was, in a sense, undisputable. But the method is what God is looking at here. How did you get your results? And again, that is instructive for many people in ministry. Yes, you have suddenly grown from 40 members to 400 in 1 year or two. That's beautiful. That's wonderful growth. But what's the method? Yes, you have done something that everybody in the city are looking to your church as an example. That's beautiful because of undisputable results. But again, how have you gone about that? What's the method? And that's what God is after.
And I know now, in hindsight, on why the disobedience was quite significant. Because God himself said it after that. So God said in chapter 12, in verse 12, God said it was because Moses did not trust him and treat him as holy in the sight of Israel. So it ties into what I read in the commentary on how that the disobedience was done in the community, before the community. And the reason earlier why I thought this wasn't a significant disobedience was because Moses has had a tete-a-tete with God in private, where he would say his mind and rant, and God would answer him in kind. Not that God would meet him at that point of his rant and explain to him what he's doing. But this rebellion Moses didn't go back to God to say, these people are rebels, didn't give God the opportunity to actually respond, but took his anger, I don't know if he was annoyed, and then displayed it before the people. And like what you said, Call, about him alluding to the fact that it was him and Moses, they're expecting to bring water.
Him and Aaron.
It was him and Aaron that they were expected to bring water, and here you have your water. Earlier, when he made this statement, it was about when the people were looking for meat to eat. But when Moses would make the statement like, how many herd or livestock would we kill? There'll be enough for these people. God then replied to say, I will show you.
Is my hand too short?
It's my hand too short. I'll make this miracle to show you. But this was him speaking to Moses. And when Moses then went out, I mean, when the quail came out, there was no discussion with the Israelites on the providence. But this time, it's as though it's challenging God before the community. And then the significance is him not trusting God and not treating him as holy in the sight of the sons of Israel.
Yeah. Instructive in many ways. Yeah, thanks. And finally, the point about Edom, if we just to make the connection, we have read about Edom before. And can you remember which descendants of which patriarch is Edom?
I know.
Yep.
It's Esau.
Exactly. So now we are saying, that's why, of course, when Moses sent people to the Edomites, he was saying it like, we are brothers, you know.
Oh, that's
so
true.
At least let's pass through your land. And of course, they vehemently refused and even came against them with a strong hand. And there will be a judgment for that. So we're going to, again, when we start reading the prophetic literature and you start seeing God saying prophecies of judgment to the nations, including the Edomites, then we can start making those connections. God is going to specifically pronounce judgments on them in a later date for this specific act of not allowing the Israelites, God's firstborn son, to pass through their land, in spite of the family connection they've had in their ancestry, which now they are more or less denying. So yeah, any concluding thoughts as we bring day 45 to a close?
No, nothing from me.
Okay, nothing from me as well. Miriam is dead. Aaron is dead. Moses has got his judgment. He also knows that now it's counting down. So gradually we are winding towards the end of Numbers. And then we'll get into Deuteronomy, which is more or less an extensive farewell speech from Moses to the Israelites. Yeah.
Is it not surprising that Moses did not entreat God to change the judgment on him?
Yeah.
Because if God had said it regarding the Israelite, I think he would have said, God, don't do that. Don't let your people be put to shame. But he was silent about it.
Yeah. And when Aaron climbed the mountain, he climbed the mountain knowing fully well that he's not going to come down. And he did not resist to go. Yeah. I don't know what to make of it, but that's something to ponder. So thank you for joining us for day 45. We continue to forge on slowly but surely through the books.
Okay.
And tomorrow we'll turn the page to Numbers chapters 20 to 22 and we'll see what happens next. But till then, just remember,
You're not alone.
today. God bless.
God bless you.